Today, the Dominican Republic is one of the few countries where it is easy to obtain residency and citizenship through real estate investment. And recent immigration changes have made this process even simpler. For Americans and Canadians buying property in the Dominican Republic, I highly recommend obtaining residency. For those with Russian, Ukrainian, or other former CIS country passports, I would advise not only obtaining Dominican residency, but also pursuing Dominican citizenship. So what are the advantages of residency and how can you obtain it? Without residency, you can stay in the country for up to 3 months. However, this is rather conditional. First of all, it's enough to leave the country for just 1 day and re-enter. And overstaying your permitted stay doesn't have any real consequences. If you exceed the allowed 90 visa-free days, you'll simply need to pay a small fine of about $30 when you leave, when you depart. Point. This won't affect your future entries in any way. The second advantage of having a residence permit is all sorts of discounts on services within the country. And these discounts are quite significant. For example, the cost of entry to national parks, amusement parks, concerts, and so on can be 4 to 5 times lower depending on whether you have a residence permit or not. Also, with a cedula, which is the Dominican residence permit, you'll get a significant discount on all domestic flights. Next, let's talk about healthcare. Today, purchasing Dominican health insurance is available to everyone. In other words, it doesn't matter whether you have a residence permit or not, you can get health insurance for $60 to $80 a month, depending on the plan you choose, and it will fully cover all medical services, except perhaps dental prosthetics and cosmetic surgeries. Over the past 7 years, Dominican healthcare has made huge strides forward. There are modern hospitals here, excellent equipment, and experienced doctors. You can usually get an appointment with almost any type of specialist within just a few days. But with the development of healthcare, so-called medical tourism has also emerged. Most of these are Americans and Canadians. Healthcare in America is very expensive, and many people don't have health insurance at all. And in Canada, although healthcare is free, the wait time for a specialist appointment can be up to 6 months. If it comes to surgery, you might have to wait a year or even 2. So today, many Americans and Canadians buy health insurance in the Dominican Republic and take advantage, so to speak, of free healthcare. Moreover, in the past 2 years, this phenomenon has become so widespread that it has put a strain on the Dominican healthcare system. Recent statements from the government make it clear that changes are coming soon. A healthcare reform is planned, after which most likely the low cost of health insurance will remain only for citizens and those with residency. For foreigners, it will become much more expensive. So this is yet another very important and significant reason to obtain legal residency status. Having comprehensive health insurance coverage is extremely important, especially for those who spend a considerable amount of time living here. Obtaining residency typically costs about $3,000, and that's for the entire family, including both spouses and all minor children. By the way, for the months when you are not in the Dominican Republic, you can choose not to pay for insurance. You can pause it, I believe, for up to 6 months. Now let's talk about the process and timeline for obtaining residency through the investor program. You need to purchase real estate. This can be an apartment, a plot of land, or a commercial property. The purchase price must be at least $200,000. After you become the owner of the property, your lawyer, both law firms representing our clients in the Dominican Republic, also provide residency application services when purchasing real estate, will assist you. A special visa is issued within 3 months. Next, you specify the country and city where you plan to have this visa stamped at the Dominican consulate. You must have the visa stamped and enter the Dominican Republic with the obtained visa. About a month later, you will receive your cedula. This is the Dominican residency permit. To maintain your residency status in the Dominican Republic, it is not necessary to live in the country full-time. It is sufficient to be physically present here for at least 1 day each year. Point. Another important change in the new immigration rules is that previously, in order to apply for Dominican citizenship and obtain a Dominican passport, you were required to live as a legal resident for a minimum of 5 years. According to the new rules, if you obtain residency through purchasing real estate, you are now eligible to apply for Dominican citizenship after just 6 months, which is a significant reduction in the required residency period. A Dominican passport today grants visa-free access to 69 countries. And this year, the issue of visa-free entry for Dominicans to the European Union will be considered. So for many people, this is very important. See you next time on the channel.